And it says I'm live. Guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Sam Golovey with Golovey Real Estate, and I'm really excited about the show that we're doing today. We're actually going to talk about a very interesting topic that I know is continuously back and forth, especially if you've lived in California. Today, we're going to talk about the rental prices. What are that prices even going for a rental, or if you're even considering for purchasing? So I'm going to break those down nationally and locally as well. Another thing, if you guys are here for the first time, if you could like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. Stay with us in the chat. Let us know your thoughts as we go along, or maybe even if you have some questions, you can feel free to drop those in, and I'm going to try to address them as we go along through the program and answer them the best way that I can. Once again, for my friends that are joining over and over every week, appreciate you guys. And so we're going to jump into it right now. So the topic, as I've discussed, is going to be, should I buy or rent a home right now? Should I buy or rent a home right now? And of course, I'm focusing mainly on the Sacramento area. Now, California, as you guys may have heard and have seen in the news or just experienced yourself, that the rental prices have been going outrageous. Things are just flying off the shelf. Even I've had clients reach out to me that just want to rent for a little while. I mean, finding something, honestly, good luck, right? Most people are looking online, maybe even reaching out to some property managers, which I have a few. If you guys are ever looking for some, I can send you a list. Our information is going to be down below. But people are having a hard time, especially if they're looking to get a little bit bigger of a home and not necessarily eat the major increase in cost monthly for getting that home in a nicer area. So just going to break it down. What I'm really going off here is a few articles that I've pulled up to kind of bring some statistics to show you guys what's really going on. So recently I pulled together this report or article, I should say, from KCM, which is Keeping Current Matters, which is a huge kind of nationally recognized company that all they do is data search on the real estate market and show you kind of, guys, what's going on as a consumer, but also to plenty of real estate professionals in the marketplace. So I'm going to pull this up together, and I will link this down below if you guys are interested in reading the article and any of the articles that I'm sharing. So according to some recent data they pulled through Realtor.com, median rental prices have reached their highest point ever recorded in many areas across the country. Okay, fair enough. The report found rents rose by 8.1% from the same time last year. This is a recent article, by the way. And so we're seeing an 8.1% increase just in 1 year on rents. And the article is stating, beyond simply recovering from pre-pandemic levels, rents across the country are surging. Typically, rents fluctuate less than 1% from month to month. But in May and June, rents increased by 3% and 3.2% from each month to the next. So you can see there's a drastic change there on a month-to-month increase. If you're a renter concerned about rising prices, now would be the time to consider purchasing a home. That's them, not me, right? We're going to break it down and see what's kind of the best approach for you. I want to jump also to this, is that they are saying that nationally, the NAR, which is National Association of Realtors, they do a lot of data themselves on the economics. And so they indicate that the latest data on homes closed shows that the median monthly mortgage payment is about $1,204. That's a little low from what I'm seeing, but nationally, I could see that the numbers can skew, especially since our prices are all over the board in the United States. But contrastingly, they're saying that the median national rent is about $1,575, according to the most current data provided by Realtor.com. So as you can see, the median national rent is $1,575, and the median monthly mortgage payment is $1,204. So it's about a $371 difference on renting versus buying. And I pulled together this chart here that they showed. So as you can see here, they're showing that median monthly mortgage, and then, but you also see the median monthly rental prices across the top. For a 2-bedroom, it's saying it's about $1,770. And then for a 1-bedroom on the blue, you see there, it's about $1,466. Now, seeing those numbers for a 1 and a 2 bedroom, that's actually pretty normal, I would say, around here. On Zillow, I was just looking, they put their own data together as well. And Zillow is saying for Sacramento, average rents are about $1,750, $1,760 a month. So as you can see there, they do a lot of rents too online there. So they're pulling that data of what's kind of active and been active on the market. Now, speaking of that, I want to break it down locally. All right. So this is nationally. Now I want to break it down locally. So let me pull this up here. Sometimes it's hard. I have like a ton of screens operating here. But according to a recent article by ABC 10, they put this out just, I think, on June 2nd. So it's still fresh. Sorry, not June 2nd, literally August 2nd. I'm sorry. What month are we in, right? We're getting all sorts of loss. This year is going by way too fast. So according to this article, they pulled some data from Apartment List, which is an online website. The rent in Sacramento is up by 10% year over year compared to the national index that is only up by 5%. So they're saying the national index is up about 5% year over year, but in Sacramento, it's 10% in year over year. So in 1 year, it went up about 10% for rents. Okay, that's interesting. That's a big steep number and a steep incline. Now, according to Apartment List, the median monthly rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Sacramento is up $150 from this time a year ago, and now hovering around $1,640. So they're saying that the rents around Sacramento on average are about $1,640 and have increased about $150 a month. Okay, that's a major increase. If you've been paying that rent and you're up $150, that's big. Okay, so I want to pull that up and show you kind of on a graph what that looks like. First of all, nationally. So as you can see here, that orange graph right there, the orange line is actually Sacramento's rents, and they're outpacing the national. You can see that. So in Sacramento, definitely since about March 2020, you can see there, and it just takes and rockets off. So that's right around when the pandemic hit, and boom, it's just running and outpacing the market here nationally. And so that's very interesting to see that it's really outpacing nationally, which makes sense. Sacramento, if you guys haven't noticed, has definitely been a market that's been booming. You keep hearing it over and over. Sacramento's on fire. Sacramento's on fire. And yes, we do have a lot of people still moving in. I've even experienced a lot of people moving out, but I would still say there's a huge influx coming in. You have heard we have the Bay Area and other cities locally that are starting to trend towards Sacramento. And even some of the areas that have been devastated by the fires in the recent years have caused people to move from, up the hill forest area down more to this area because there is more housing, there's more jobs, things like that. So we have seen a major influx of people coming in. I want to look at the chat real quick, see what we going on so far. Boom, 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 boom. Someone said, let's go, Sam. Come on, meet Prophet Paul. By the way, if you guys were on the show last week or you missed it, we talked about how to flip a house, how to engage in flipping a house, and whether you should do it or not, if it's your first time or just interested in flipping a house. I also gave a market update on that one in the beginning. So look out for that one. It's on the past live broadcast on our channel. Just go over there after the show, and then you can see that one as well. I have my buddy Paul on there from Property Sales Group talking a lot about how to flip a house, what they go through, what are some of the red flags when looking for a property. So check him out on there. Another thing that I want to jump to is back to the locals. So again, we're all about the local here, wanting to see what's exactly going on in Sacramento. And I want to bring the year over year changes. Speaking of people moving in and things like that, I want to bring in and show you this graph that I pulled up. And this is the average rent. So as you can see up top there, you got Los Angeles, dumps down to San Francisco, about $3,035. What's interesting about this graph right here is that San Francisco is the only one that took a year over year change and went negative. So they dropped about 11% on their average rent. That's very interesting to see that compared to every other city named on here that's in increasing numbers. So based on this graph, they're saying that the average rent year over year has actually increased 13%. So on that last article, I read that it increased 10%, and this one is saying 13%. So you have that 10 to 13% average. Of course, the numbers can sway depending on where you're pulling your data, how you're pulling your data, but that gives us some pretty concrete numbers there, 10 to 13% year over year change in the average rents. So that's substantial, especially if you're planning on staying in the same place and not really changing anything about the property. Your landlord is not updating the property, not doing anything specific to the property. Paying an extra 10% can definitely hit the pocket there. Okay, so according to this one, average rent for an apartment, and this is rentcafe.com. If you guys want, I'll link all these so you can check it out for yourself. But average rent for an apartment in Sacramento is about $1,653 a month. So $1,653 a month for an average rent to get an apartment here in Sacramento. That's pretty steep. You know, and even though that's the average, I take that with a grain of salt. So today, just to give you guys some numbers, depending on what areas you guys want to be in, I reached out to my buddy David. He might be on this channel actually right now watching live. David, if you're on there, send a message. But I was saying, hey, you know, you're renting in Rockland. What's that look like right now? And he told me for a 4-bed, 2-bath, he's paying about $2,400 a month to rent a home in Rockland. I'd say it's kind of medium Rockland, really nice area, but you're looking at $2,400 a month to be in Rockland. And I would say that most of the rents that I'm seeing when I have clients asking to get into, let's say, a 2,000 to 2,500 square foot home, don't quote me on this, but what I'm seeing is rents like starting about $2,300 up to $2,500 a month. So as you can see, the average was much less than what I'm actually seeing in the marketplace, because it really depends on your lifestyle, your preferences, where you want to be. A lot of these are taking averages of rentals that are apartments. So of course you have a ton of apartments, you know, hovering right around the same price point. But once you get into single family homes, you're going to see that jump. You want a garage, you want a backyard, you're going to see that jump in pricing. Now, what do I got here? I want to also talk about more of the stats as far as potentially purchasing. Let's say that you're not really interested in renting. Now that I broke it down, you're like, Sam, that's kind of crazy. I might as well purchase a home. So I'm going to run through those numbers later. So if you guys stay along, I'm going to run through some scenarios and show you what a monthly mortgage payment would look like. David is on the show. Boom. Check it out. There he is. Make sure to follow him, guys. Great guy. One thing he mentioned here is that he says, my PG&E bill is $600 during summer. That's crazy. PG&E bill is $600. Time to get some solar panels, David. But I will say that PG&E, especially here in Rockland, a lot of people do complain about the cost with that. If you go over to Roseville and get a Roseville Electric, save you some money. Buying with Sam can save you 15% or more on housing costs. Boom, there's my ad. Had to throw that in there. Sorry, that was a little cheesy. But I want to keep going on. I want to pull up this, someone else. Pulled up this, sorry, I want to read this. Solar's the way to go. Come on. Yeah, actually, speaking of solar, just locked in a client on a brand new home in Roseville today. So there is an option if you guys ever considering solar, especially on a new build. So that home is going to be under 2,000 square feet. And I believe they're putting about a 4 kilowatt system, which is not huge. But in Roseville, that's decent. So what they're going to charge them is about $16,000. You also have a lease option, but yeah, about $16,000 for solar. I would highly recommend, solar is getting very competitive. If you have a home that's a little bit older and you're not building brand new, go get some quotes. Actually, reach out to me and my team. If you send me a message, I can send you a few referrals that can install solar for you and probably beat the price of most of the competitors that you're finding on Google or wherever right now. I want to pull up this question from Henry. Have you heard of Sacramento renters taking advantage of the moratorium like San Francisco residents? I want to avoid the situation of paying tenants 6 figures to leave my property. I want to avoid the situation of paying tenants 6 figures to leave my property. That's pretty steep. That's pretty, I haven't heard that before. Maybe in San Francisco. I know it's definitely a different ballpark. And Henry, thanks for hopping on the channel. It's been awesome talking to you. But have you heard of renters taking advantage? 100%. Here in Sacramento, 100%. I've had multiple landlords, clients that wanted to sell their home and the tenants just stop paying. They wanted to pay. They can't evict them. They can't really do much, and they're eating that cost. So yes, I'm seeing people, getting taken advantage, basically. So I'm hoping that comes to a close here pretty soon, because I just don't think it's fair, especially if the tenants are still making money, because a lot of them are making money. So I don't want to give too much advice on here. We're live, but I would say, yes, it's still a risk. It's still a risk. So I would 100% be careful about that one. And the market is definitely hot in San Francisco. I just looked at the median prices last month. If you guys were watching the show, right around 1.5 million for SF County, which is, I'll say that's a pretty good market if that's your median price. So definitely be cautious of that one. But what I would do, Henry, is reach out to your local property managers in that area that are working specifically in your area. Get them on a phone call and just really get some advice of what they're seeing. I'm not too much in the San Francisco area, so I can't say for a fact, but I would get their pulse on it, get some advice from them directly, and that's going to be the best way to go about it. Here we go. David's back on the channel, and he's saying, send them my way and I can install a 4-kilowatt system for 13 grand. Now I'm getting bids on my live channel. So if you guys are interested in getting some solar, contact David down below. He's with Kobix Construction Group. They do some really high-end remodels and roofs. If you guys are looking in the area, 100% would recommend them. They even have some billboards, so you could be driving by and probably run across them. All right, so I want to talk about the opportunity cost without buying. Okay, so we've seen the crazy rents. We've seen what's going on with the rents areas. And if you are looking to rent, I can get you in contact with a few awesome property managers. They'll get you on a list. They will send you some better properties in the area. Of course, you can always check out Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Those are all decent, but just make sure that if you are going to those, in my personal experience, I've experienced that a lot of sellers will overprice their listing when they're putting it up for rent. They know the market's hot, so they'll sometimes overprice it a little bit. So make sure that you're negotiating with them. Negotiate with them and see if you can drop the price a little bit on your monthly. Okay, there's my fun fact of the day. Now, I want to talk about opportunity costs without buying and potential loss on appreciation. So as you guys know, prices have been continuously surging, and I'll give you guys some examples. So I just closed on a home yesterday. It went for about $465 up in Plumas Lake, so a little bit north of Sacramento. But about 3 years ago, these clients, they approached me and they were just getting outpriced in the typical central Sacramento area. I said, look, guys, you're near retirement age. You don't really care about your commute or where you land. You just want to be in a safe place with a good community. So I offered, hey, Plumas Lake, it's still in your price range. At the time, they were hovering right around 290, 300,000, maybe 310 on a really nice home. And we went up there and we looked at these homes. These homes are nice. Most of them are built after 2000. It's like I'll say about 2005, 6. And then just now in the last 3 years, they've really been booming out there. So they bought for about 300,000. Here we are 3 years later. I just sold their home for 465,000. And they lived in it for 3 years. So they're avoiding capital gains tax as a married couple. So that's huge. So they're basically walking away with gross $165,000. So when you're looking at that, the opportunity cost is immense. Where else can you make $160,000 without doing really anything to the property? Mind you, they never painted it. They never updated anything. They worked on their garden in the backyard, but they didn't do really anything to the property. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying the home was move-in ready. It didn't need much. And we sold it for $465 as is. So, I mean, you could see that that's a huge spend. Where else can you make $160,000 passively living in a home for 2-3 years? Literally 3 years, $160,000. Another one, what can I think of? There's another one coming up on the market in Elk Grove. I helped them also purchase 3 years ago. They closed at $440,000. I just recently did the estimate for them. We're going to be listing the home in about a week or two. So if you're looking in Elk Grove, track this. We're going to be listing for about $600,000. That's also a $160,000 increase in 3 years. Again, passively, didn't do much to the home. We'll upgrade the carpets. We might paint it a little bit and spray some Febreze throughout the house, but no major updates or remodels to the home. So Think about that. Passively for the last 3 years, both of these clients are going to gross about $160,000 or more by living in a home. That is huge. That is better than any crypto investment I think you can make right now. And you're living in a home and you get tax benefits and you're a homeowner in the state of California. So there's huge appreciation here, huge benefits to owning a home. And of course, on the opposite spectrum, if you wanted to rent, there's benefits with that too. You don't deal with the water heater when it goes out. You don't deal with something that breaks or needs to be replaced. I get that. But there is a huge benefit. I mean, 160 grand, I'll deal with some issues to make $160,000. Am I right? So that's one thing to consideration is opportunity cost when you're not purchasing, even in a hot market. Back then, 2018, 2019, 2020, everyone's been telling me ever since I got into this business, it's too hot, I'm going to wait. It's too hot, I'm going to wait. And boom, they miss the opportunity cost. Once again, if you guys are just joining the channel, welcome on in. I can see a few more people hopping on, so I want to welcome you guys. Like I mentioned before, feel free to drop it in the chats. Anything you want to talk about, maybe you have a question or concern. I got my broker dad even watching. That's when you know you got the family supporting the channel. So here we go. I want to pull up Henry's message again. Sorry, I missed this one, Henry, earlier. Do you have any data on rentals in East Sacramento? I'm thinking that's a good place for an investment property. 100%. If you want some data, send me a message. I can pull together some data specifically on East Sacramento for you, and I'll send that to you. As an investment opportunity, yes, absolutely. East Sac is super hot. It's specifically 95820, which is right kind of outside of East Sac. There's some smaller homes that we've even been selling, and we've had a lot of our investors start to turn over their properties there. But even for like a 3-bed, 1-bath, 900 square feet, I was seeing rents push $2,000 a month, which is crazy. And these homes, I'm talking, they're built in the 50s and early 60s. For a 3-bed, 1-bath, $2,000 a month. I think we can make it cash flow. Reach out to me. We might have one more coming up later this year. If you're looking for kind of a smaller fixer-upper, quick, we can just turn it over and get some renters in there. Definitely a hot area. East Sacramento is definitely one of the hotter areas right now. If you guys want, there's a past live broadcast that I put in, and it's going to talk about the best places in Sacramento or best places to live in Sacramento. One of the last places I mentioned on there is East Sac, and I go through kind of like the high end and the low end and what's available in East Sac because it's such a diverse community. And of course, you got Sacramento State University there, which is a huge draw to people from out of the area wanting to purchase there and rent to students in the area. So that's some good stuff right there. Want to pull up, see if anybody else wants to drop it in the chat if you guys have any questions. So I want to move on and go through, again, local Sacramento, since we're kind of mentioning the pricing of rents and price to purchase. So I want to talk about the median prices in Sacramento. So here's a graph I pulled up hot and fresh this morning off the press. This is off Metro List. So as you can see here, there's that blue line running across, and those are the sold homes. And of course, the top one is the homes that are for sale or active. And you can see that the comparison is for sale is 575 as a median price, but then as what's actually sold is 525 as a median price. So as you can see there, 525,000 is the median price, and this is the counties Sac, El Dorado, Placer, Yolo. So in my opinion, kind of the main county surrounding Sacramento included. So 525,000 is kind of like your median price point to purchase a home in Sacramento area right now. So with that in mind, I want to run some scenarios and show you what it takes to buy a house for $525,000 if my computer will work with me. Guys, I'm so getting used to the live thing, so please bear with me. Here we go. All right. As you can see here, I have the Zillow mortgage calculator. If you guys are ever curious and wanted to plug and chug some numbers, obviously running it past a lender with more current numbers is the way to go. But if you want to just do some quick synopsis on a house that you ran across, and of course, I know I always get it. Someone's not shopping, and then boom, a listing comes across Redfin or Trulia or whatever, and they're like, whoa, this is the house for me, and they're writing an offer. That happens all the time. You'd be surprised how many times I get a text message at 10 or 11 p.m. I think this is the house for us. I'm like, last week, didn't we talk about that you guys aren't going to be buying? Happens all the time. So this is for you if you want to run the numbers before you shoot me that text. Okay, here we go. I plugged it in, 525,000. Let me know if you guys can see this. I want to make sure that you're seeing this. So I plugged it in for a home price of 525,000, down payment at 10%. So that's going to be about 52 grand, 52,500. And with your closing costs, I'd estimate it to be, my guesstimate would be about $60,000. Okay. That's closing costs and down payment on a $525,000 house. Your interest rate, put it about 2.9%, because you could still get that in today's market. So that puts your payment, if you look over here to the right on that circle, $2,536. Okay, so you're looking at about $2,500 payment to buy a home for the median price of $525,000. Now, if I want to jump that up, ideally you'd want to put about 20% down, because of course we'd avoid that PMI. So if you can put 20% down, I know that's kind of steep. Some of you guys are thinking $105,000, Sam Golovey, you are insane. Well, some of you guys are putting that much money into your crypto wallet balance over the last few months. So I think you guys can scavenge it together. Also, if you have retirement accounts, I'm not advising this. I'm just saying it's a possibility. You can put together $100,000. I would actually say a good chunk of my clients are putting money together like this. Not saying you have to. You can still get away with 3.5% down, 5% down, and I'll show you those numbers right now. But when you hit that 20% mark, it really becomes an ideal factor for you, because you're avoiding that PMI, which can sometimes be $100, $200, even $300 on top of your mortgage payment. So that's really like a kicker in the road. When you can avoid that, you can definitely see your monthly mortgage payment drop substantially. And of course, having more down payment, you have a lower loan amount. So it's just a win-win. And even writing an offer, when you're writing 20% down, you look like a much more qualified candidate in the marketplace. You know, when I'm listing properties and I see two equal offers, or they're even competing somewhat, I am always leaning towards the one with more down payment, because that's a more qualified buyer. They've put their money in the game. They have more skin in the game. They've been saving for this. So come on. It's the way to go. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that you definitely look more qualified. So 20% down, you're at a $2,085 payment. So you can see the PMI definitely got hacked there. And of course, your payment, just by bumping it up to 20%, got hacked by about $500. So you can be about under $2,100 at a $525,000 purchase price. Now, let's say you're coming in with a little bit less money and you want to see what that looks like. Let's say we want to do 5% down. 5% down, boom, run it. Let's go, if it'll cooperate. All right, so at 5% down, you can see here I've put in $26,000 and $250 for my down payment. So I'm putting about 26 grand as down payment with 5% down. That puts my payment at $2,729. So you can see there, the payment substantially increases at $2,729. So now I want to take it back to, let's say I want my payment to be roughly like David's, who was on the channel earlier, and he was bragging about having his monthly payment be about $2,400. So I think if we put in 10%, let's see what that changes to. Come on, work with me. There we go. So about 10%. Okay, let's say I put in 12%. Okay, so about if David would finally hire me as his real estate agent, if David would finally commit to purchasing a home here in Rockland, I could find him a home for $525,000. And yes, it's true. I just got a home in contract today for $501,000, brand new in West Roseville. Shameless plug. We can do it. We can make it happen. But if David finally decided to purchase a home at $525,000 with 12% down, and I know he's got it, the guy's sitting on some money, we can do the same monthly payment that he has on his rent, and he'd be owning a home with a little down payment of $63,000. I know some of you guys say, man, Sam, that's a little steep. But I just wanted to show you guys some numbers of what it actually takes to purchase in this market. Of course, we can do the 3.5%, 5% down. Those programs are out there. Don't get me wrong. We can even get you some closing cost credits. They're out there. I'm just saying that if you can get to that 20% mark or more, highly competitive in this marketplace, and it puts you at a better financial position. And of course, your loan to value, you're in a much better position, and you look much more qualified with lenders in this market. Of course, shout out to Mark. I see that he is one of the top channels on YouTube. Mark, we love you. Thanks for joining on the channel. Appreciate you. So as you guys can see, that's the median prices, and that's what's happening with median prices. I want to pull some more data. Sammy the Goat. Who's this? Appreciate you. Sammy the Goat. Love that. All right. I want to actually pull together also what's going on with the inventory. So we've talked about pricing. Now you're saying, okay, Sam, cool. I want to either purchase or rent, but what's going on? Are there homes in the market? Is there even something to choose from in the market right now? And I want to say yes, because you're going to be surprised right now of all this data I'm pulling out in your face, showing you what's going on in the marketplace. Oh, Maxi Waxy, that's my client. I'm sorry, man. I didn't realize your handle on YouTube. So I appreciate my clients always joining the channel. That's really cool. By the way, your offer is going in this evening. I'm excited about that one. All right, so check this out. I want to show you guys what's going on with the inventory on the market. This is a graph that I pulled off, hot off the press on the MLS today. This is, of course, all the surrounding counties. That's the way I like to do it. Sacramento, Placer, Yolo, El Dorado. Just to guys show you, because all those counties are basically combined into one, in my opinion. And most people are shopping in those anyways, as far as what the clients that I have that are working. So check this out. That last bar that you see there all the way to the right, that's July. I told you guys, and I promised you guys on my last live broadcast that I'd pull together the stats for what July closed. I know we were a little bit behind the ball there. It's taking some time for the data to come out. And the amount of homes for sale as of July is 4,408 homes on the market for sale. So 4,408 homes have been on the market as of July. As you can see there, those light green bars, the lighter colored bars, those are the homes that are actually for sale. And the dark green is actually the sold. So as you can see there, the dark green is definitely outpacing the homes that are for sale. So AKA the market is still hot. But you can still see here that the inventory is increasing. Matter of fact, with that 4,408 homes coming into the market as of last month, I did some quick numbers. And since January, that is an 81.8% increase. So since January, the amount of homes that came for sale in the surrounding Sacramento areas is 81.8%. Now, looking back at this graph, you might not say, wow, that's not really that crazy. But if you look down about halfway on that graph, you see January there. And then you see that light green bar just boom, 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 and ticker up to the right. So you can see that that's a big change, 81.8%. So if you were shopping in the last few months, maybe you got discouraged at the beginning of this year, I would say now is maybe even a good time to enter the market, or at least start looking at listings again, because we are seeing more inventory come to the market. Now, I want to approach this topic that a lot of realtors are blaring out right now with limited education. Many people have been saying that the market's slowing down, things are changing, things are turning over. Well, if you guys watched my last live, I did a market update, and that it shows that typically in the month of July, besides 2020, but in the last 3 to 5 years, the month of July actually takes a dip in median prices and activity on the market. And that was some stats that was pulled together by a SAC appraiser blog. So kudos to them. But you'll see that divot. Now, why that happens, it's really hard to say. But typically, I think it's that people, whether they're moving or not, have decided, well, my kids need to get into school and the school year starting. So they'll typically kind of cut it off July. Also, it's a huge vacation month. Notice even for some of my clients, majority of them, for some reason, July was a hot month for that. So whatever the reasons are, we see that dip, except 2020, which was an awkward year for all of us. But you see a little bit of a dip in July. So don't be scared. Basically, we don't have enough trends and enough graphs out and enough historical data to say that the market is churning over, even though median prices took a little divot there. We're still seeing also that the amount of homes coming onto the market is increasing. So of course, supply and demand, when more homes finally come on, you're going to feel a little bit of a cool off. You know, I used to put a listing on the market, you get 5, 10, sometimes more offers. Now on that same home, you're getting 1, 2, maybe 3 offers. If it's really hot, you're still getting that crazy attraction, maybe 5 to 10 offers. If it's really hot, you might have underpriced it, or it's in a crazy, amazing area that has a huge upside potential. Yes, you'll still see that 5, 10 offer situation. Don't get me wrong. But on the majority of homes, me personally is what I'm seeing, 1, 2, 3 offers. So just keep mind of that, is that it's supply and demand. I wouldn't say it's cooling off of everything's churning over, but it's, the pace has slowed down a little bit, definitely. So keep that in mind, that if you were shopping earlier this year, you were getting discouraged. Now, in my opinion, it would be a good time to potentially start rethinking that idea and maybe even coming back into the market. Of course, you can always reach out to me, my team. I put my number down below. You can also book an appointment with me in the description below. It says book an appointment with Sam. It's a quick 15-minute consultation. I just get an idea of what you're looking for, what you want. And I basically tell you, yes, let's do it. Or maybe you should do these things to get in a better position to purchase. So if you'd like to do that, feel free to schedule with me that down below. And I'd be happy to have a call with you, a video time, or even a coffee on the house if you meet with me. Okay, so that's my little shameless plug. I'm going to check into the comments and anything else below. And someone wrote sweet. So book an appointment with me if you are considering some options as far as purchasing a home. And I want to say things are definitely changing. It's a lot of people did lose hope. I've even had a lot of buyers that were in the market. They did lose hope. I mean, after you're writing 5, 10 offers, it could be a little bit emotionally exhausting. So seeing this slow off, in my opinion, is great. I'm expecting some of my buyers to emerge back into the market, especially that the ones that really got discouraged. Now is the time to start looking around and really start putting your shot out there. I had a great story that happened to me today. I just want to share this with you guys. So I had a client, one of my awesome past clients, Tyler, if you're watching, I know he's on the YouTube channel too. He referred me this client. He reached out to me on Sunday morning. We got coffee in the afternoon. They kind of told me what they're looking for. They're moving from the Bay Area. They need a quick close, quick move in. Things just changed drastically for them on their job situations. So they're like, boom, we need to move here. Our family's here. This just makes sense. I'm like, great, let's make it happen. Price point wasn't the highest, but I was like, okay, let's do it. So we started looking, and today I sent them a few links to some brand new homes and some used homes in the Roseville, Rockland area. And we started looking, and today I showed them one home. We went to a few new developments. Literally right before we went to this new development, I called the agent. I've talked with her in the past, so I have some rapport with her. And she says, Sam, you would never believe it. I just had a contract fall out. The fact that you're calling me right now and following up with me is very interesting, because I have a home. It's about $500,000. It's ready to go. It's going to close and be finished in September. It's still brand new. It's ready to go. It's ready to rock. I said, let's do it. We went over there. I wasn't expecting much, but wow, they loved the home. The layout was perfect. It fit their family. No HOA, low Melrose, which is music to my ears, gold in my pocket. Not a fan of HOA, but they were ecstatic. And it was the first day that they were shopping. And I got to tell you, like, they were so overjoyed. They were hearing horror stories of being in the market and dealing with all this frustration and just being bid out and this and that. But this is the beauty of inventory and a little bit of slowing coming to the market, is that you can finally have a chance to play as a buyer. And as I showed you guys that financial situation earlier, they weren't coming in with the 20%. You don't have to do that. It was actually much less, but I'm just saying that the opportunities are there and starting to emerge. And speaking on a side note, if you guys are looking for brand new builds, there's still a lot of new builds out there that are being constructed. And if you guys have been following my channel or anything that I do, I review a ton of the new builds in the area. I am the new build guy. So it's no one. But if you guys are interested in getting some information, I do have a lot of that. I literally have Google Docs about the pricing, square footage, plans, what's coming up, what's still not out. If you guys want to get on some lists and know about those, reach out to me and my team. Again, give me a call or text. My number's down below. and we'll walk you through and see if there's some good options for you. Okay. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this show so far. And I want, of course, Andrew, thanks for being on the channel. He's saying we will emerge stronger and harder than ever. Man, that sounds like a really good political statement right there for the economy. Well, Andrew, I appreciate you being on the channel. Of course, Andrew is one of my past clients. Super amazing guy, super amazing people. So shout out to you. Thanks for being on. But guys, I really hope that you've enjoyed this live. I hope that this information was useful for you. Of course, you can, I'm going to post this up and you can rewatch this. You can see some of those graphs that I've posted. If you want me to drop those links down below, drop it in the chat or in the comments, and I'll come back and upload those so you can review those articles and graphs and everything, all that for yourself. Also, there's some good sources to follow for yourself if you just want to be up to date on the market nationally and locally. So thanks, guys. Always remember, do the whole like, comment, subscribe thing. Share this with your friends and family that need to hear this, that are still on the border of buying or renting. I'm honestly okay with either one. I think that everybody's family situation and personal situation is totally different, but I do want to inform you and would love to consult with you. If you reach out to me, I can hear your story, hear where you're coming from, and then we can decide what's the best option for you right now. Thanks again, guys, for watching the channel. My name's Sam Golovey. Sayonara. Have a great week. We're going live every Tuesday at 5:30, talking about Sacramento real estate, talking about the things about real estate and everything that there is to know about Sacramento. Thanks for joining, guys. Love you.